Ladies and gentlemen, you know what this is. This is Hawken, and I am your host, KageKaze. And we are looking at the closed beta event number 3. This is the last closed beta event that will be occurring before the game goes live on December 12th. So we are a little over 3 weeks away before that happens. This event will be running just a little over 2 weeks. So they've got a 1-week period where this beta ends and the actual game begins. Now, if you remember in the last video, I talked about how no changes is usually a good sign that something's getting ready to launch. Well, I think they've made a liar out of me because they've actually done quite a bit of changes on this one. But all of it's polished, so it's really good stuff. But they surprised me by adding new mechs into this build as well. So we're going to look at some of the changes that have occurred between Closed Beta Event 2 and number 3. But first, I've got some great news for all of you, especially if you've been interested in the Hawken beta and want to try it out. They are now finally offering a way to pre-purchase this game. And they've got several purchasing schemes on their website. I'm going to get a picture and I'll put it on the video so you can see it. It basically resembles the same purchasing scheme that happened with MechWarrior Online. You have 4 tiers instead of 3. The first tier is really just a very basic one. It's Recruit. That one is basically $5 and you get into Closed Beta Event 3. So if you want to get in, you can go and pre-purchase the game. You pay a minimum of $5 up to $60 and you have access. The $5 purchase will get you basically only 2 things: access to the beta and some meteor credits worth $5. Now, if you want to purchase the Ensign pack, which is basically what you would consider the low pack for the MechWarrior Online, kind of the same thing, you will get access to a prototype mech, a camouflage, an icon, 3 days worth of an XP booster, and some meteor credits. And they'll start scaling it up. So that one's for $15. And of course, as you go up, you get more bonuses. The Lieutenant pack adds in Hawken credit boosts. And the Commander, the final pack, adds in a 7-day boost for both XP and Hawken credits, a prototype repair drone, as well as more meteor points, and your name listed in the Hawken game credits. And that's just for $60, so the price of a full game normally. So I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of names show up in this game's credits. Now, as of this recording, the website, the Vanguard Initiative is what they're calling it, the website is having some difficulty. At first it wouldn't load, and then it could load, but it wasn't taking payment information. It is probably being hit very heavily right now. So you might have to be a little patient. This event is going for 2 weeks, and remember that the game will be going live on the 12th. It is a free-to-play. It will be open beta on December 12th. So you can decide to put money into it now. Again, you'll have to be patient with the website as it's getting hit, or you can simply wait for the game to get its official release. So I'm going to go over now a few changes here that have happened to the game, what I can see here, and I'll have the patch notes up, so if I miss anything here, we'll talk about that later. So let's just kind of go over general observation here. We'll go over the controls. Nothing really has changed a lot here. I think they've added a few more colors, including gray and dark gray for the console here. Not too much really changing here. Everything seems the same. All the features are there. Alright, so, well, we go into the message list and we can see this is something I like as an aesthetic standpoint here. The friends list and the messaging have been given a dark background to make it a lot easier to see instead of a very transparent gray. There's an icon here for adding friends now instead of just a plus, so that's a little more uniform with other media that use that. The buttons here are still not up, the rankings and the deals, so those will probably become active either later or won't become active until full. Don't know for sure. They have performed a wipe, as you can see. I don't have any of my mechs. That was unfortunately a consequence of beta, but they did give us some meteor points to spend. As you can see, all stats have been wiped out. I fully expect the stats to be wiped again at the game's full release. Now, some things that have changed here that I really like is I see here in the tooltips that I didn't see before is your weapons will now show you what each level will do. So we look here at my assault. I have my secondary weapon, the tow rocket. Not only does it tell me what it does, but it says there at level 1 I get a 10% rocket speed, at level 2 15% explosion radius, and level 3 a 5% reduction in heat. Now I'm really glad to see this. In the last video I talked about what do these levels do. I was really afraid that they might do something like more damage. That could be very discouraging to new players and keep the battlefield open only to those who have put time or money into it in order to progress. Basically, if you are getting more powerful as you level up, those who are a lower level may not stand a chance, may get discouraged, may not play, therefore might not put money into it if they feel that this is a waste of their time. So what I like about this is what I'm seeing here is nothing here that really seems to scream overpowered. Rocket speed, you still have to be skillful with the rocket. The explosion radius makes it a little bit easier to hit, but it doesn't do more damage. So that is really good to see indeed. So for example, here we'll look at the assault rifle. We have a spread reduction, so a little bit more accuracy, heat reduction, and again spread per shot. So this is looking really good. Let's see if we can find out what it is for the ability here. Okay, unfortunately this one does not show us what the levels do. But now that we've been reset, I can go here into the shop and show you this trial thing that they had in the last beta that I did not get to show you. I mentioned it, but I didn't actually show you. Here it is. I have a test drive until the 27th of November, as you can see here. I click on him, and you'll see that it says he's free. I can go ahead and click on that. He'll be added to my garage. There we go. And ladies and gentlemen, beta is beta. Please keep that in mind. It's basically not going to let me add him, it seems, because it thinks I don't have the funds. Now the problem with this is I can't buy him at all, it seems, because it won't even let me use credits to purchase him. So that is a shame. The reason why this is a little discouraging is because the Rocketeer here has been given a new weapon that I really wanted to try. If you remember, in the last beta event, he had something of a tank cannon that he could use. You charge it up, it could do more damage and have a larger explosion radius. Now the Rocketeer is truly living up to its name, as it's been given a seeker, a quick firing missile that if the enemy is near your crosshair, it will start seeking them out. I really wanted to try that. So I'm hoping that this bug with the free purchase will resolve itself, and if it does, I will go into it and give it a try. I'm really looking forward to that. New mechs that have been added as well here are the Grenader, another heavy weapon mech that has been given, looks like grenade launchers, a new weapon that's been introduced in this beta, the Rev GL, and it looks like a heat cannon, and he has a turret that goes into heavy defense mode and increases weapon and item damage. So it's a defense mode, but he also does more damage. So you're going to lose your mobility, but you're going to be able to put out some serious damage there. So he could be interesting to try. Another mech here is the Bruiser, who is another missile mech. He has the Hellfire missiles. He also has the Point D Vulcan that I haven't been able to try yet. That is a heavy machine gun type weapon there. Looks like it does have a standard chain gun type effect, like a heavy weapons guy from Team Fortress 2, for example. So I'll have to try that out. That's going to be fun. And he has the ability to reduce all damage taken for a short amount of time. As far as light mechs, we have the Scout here, who also has a tow rocket like some of the other lighter classes, and he has the shotgun of the game, the mini flak and the primary flak. The mini flak is a shotgun with a faster rate of fire but lower damage, and the flak is pretty much high damage, almost like double-barreled shotguns if you were to compare the two to real-world weaponry here. He also has the ability to replenish his thrusters here, so he has the ability to stay agile on the battlefield. So that's really nice to see that we've got a mech here designed kind of for speed and for getting in close on his enemies. So let's go in here, and there's a major change here. It used to be you had three items here, an offensive, a defensive, and support. They have decided to condense them down. So you have an offensive item now and a support item. The offensive hasn't changed. It's still the HE charges, the detonators, rocket turrets, and machine gun turrets. whereas the support has combined both the defense and previous support items. Whereas before you could have an EMP and a radar or radar scrambler, you have to pick and choose now. All the items are still here and represented, but you can only carry 2 at a time. Now, a benefit here is that I talked about before how when you used your items, you ran out, you didn't get any more. I was kind of hoping that maybe there would be a way, if you played well, you could maybe get some more back. It sounds like they have added a system now that you will get your items back. They will regenerate over time. I don't know how quick it is. I'll have to get into battle to try it. I kind of wish they'd fix this or change it if it's not broken. The primary weapon level 0 thing is still showing up here from the last beta event. I liked it better when it said level 1 because that makes more sense. Why would I want to get a level in this mech only to get a level 0? But that's really just kind of minor nitpicking. It does the same effect. Especially though, it's kind of jarring when you go over here and it says level 1, level 2, level 3, and then over here it says level 0, level 1, level 2. So it makes sense if you kind of think about it, but I would kind of hope that they kind of make it consistent across the board. Some changes have happened to the optimizations here. I don't know exactly what's changed because they didn't give a list, but it sounds like they tried to make this a bit more balanced. So I can't really report on all the changes because, of course, I haven't written all the values down. But it does sound like they're really concerned about balance, and I'm very happy to hear that. The Rocketeer especially, because one of my problems with the Rocketeer was he felt like he was a little underpowered because if something got in close to him, he had kind of a hard time dealing with it. And so now he's got a new weapon. Maybe that'll work and help him out. Into the body shop, pretty much the same here, although of course we have some mech redesigns. I meant to talk about that in the mech lab, but it looks like some of these pieces have been changed up a bit. For example, this one here looks quite different from before, if it's the same type of model. But so there are some upgrades to the mech design. Some of them have of course stayed the same, the ones that they liked, but there are a lot of different things you can get now. The drones are the same as they ever were. But more mech chassis here. That's good to see. And something new here is the paint shop. There is now a taunt here in the paint shop. This is not mentioned anywhere in the patch notes, and not anything I was expecting. So, and as you can see, it's locked, and I can't do anything with it. I can't wait to see what they do with this. I have a feeling this is going to be something you can only purchase with meteor points. One of those, aesthetic things that you have to purchase with real-world currency. So that is going to be kind of fun. It's kind of nice to see them do that. It almost reminds me of Portal 2 with the different emotes you could purchase in that game. So that's kind of cool. All right, so this is pretty much the same. Since I was talking about the lock here on the taunt, let's talk about the lock here on the equipment screen. So still, we have no way of changing our alternate primary weapon. I have a feeling they are eventually going to let us change it. Of course, it's easier to believe this when you see a little lock icon here, which indicates that, hey, there's probably something here that's going to get unlocked. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, let's go down here because this is a major change to this version of the game. These are the internals, the defensive, offensive, and functional. They haven't really changed a lot as far as the bonuses they give, but check this out. They now give you penalties. I talked about this a bit in the last time as well. Something about these that concerned me a bit was that you are purchasing power with these because you can get something like weapons damage. Now granted, they are minor upgrades, like as you can see here, 3%. That's not a lot. But they felt that that might be a bit too much to give you nothing but raw bonuses, and I can kind of agree, because that can make or break the two players, of equal skill. So now what they've done is they've given you a negative effect, but the negative effect doesn't outweigh the positive really, or it really depends on how you look at it from a balanced standpoint. Let's look, for example, here, the magnetic rail. This is going to give you 3% additional weapon damage, but you're going to lose 2% of your maximum armor. Now, is that a big deal? Well, it depends on your playstyle, and it kind of depends on your mech, too. Heavier mechs have more armor, so that 2% is going to be a big difference to a heavier mech compared to a lighter mech. So that's something you'll have to keep in mind. Now, there are still some of these internals that are raw buffs. For example, this cooling unit, 0.5 second overheat recovery. It's a minor buff, though, and it doesn't affect damage or armor in any way. All it affects is your cooldown time, which, of course, can be a big deal if you overheat, but you're usually overheated for so long that half of a second is really not a big deal. So this is looking good. Defensive internals, much the same. You can see here what they've done is given you a reduction in damage received, but you might lose movement speed. So looking at these armor internals, which used to be good for fast movers, might not be as good. 1.5 meters a second doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're trying to be quick and you want that speed, you might have to look elsewhere. You could go for max armor, which reduces your bullet and explosive damage. Probably wouldn't go for bullet damage received, since that also reduces movement speed, but there's also a repair rate here with no drawbacks. So that's what you're going to have to look at. Some of these are very movement impairing defensives, but you do have some options if you don't want to lose movement. On the functional, the only benefit one is the radar distance, which can be quite nice. Energy unit capacity, that's an interesting balance there. So if you're trying to play siege mode and you're trying to be your team's energy carrier, it looks like you're going to move just a little bit slower. So that kind of makes sense. In this game, the heavier mechs carry more energy, but they're slower. So if you're going to put more energy on your mech, you're going to move slower. So it's kind of nice to see where they're going with these. I haven't looked at them all. I'm just kind of glancing them over here. They look fairly balanced. It's nice to see that they are thinking in this direction about what can you buy and what is going to give you an advantage on the battlefield. So they're doing a really good job here, at least what I can see. Of course, I have to go out into the game still and play it and see exactly how this all changes the gameplay in the end. So before I go in, of course, I'm probably going to want to set myself up with my boosters. And what I see here is they've changed the name. This used to say Hawken Points, from what I remember. I'll be honest with you. Things like this, when you don't expect a change, you don't quite remember it. I'm pretty sure this said Hawken Points. It's been changed to Hawken Credits. I think that makes sense because Meteor Points and Hawken Points, it seems a little quirky there. So now you've got credits, so you can kind of equate how you do in a game with credits. So we'll go ahead and go in here. You can pick our duration from 1, 3, 7, 14, or 30. This event is going for 2 weeks, so I'll want to pick that one. You'll see 1 day is 150, 3 days is 250, so you get kind of a discount as you go along, 400 for 7. And 14 days, we'll go ahead and do that at 750 meteor points. So we'll go ahead and spend our meteor credits, and as you can see, I can't buy more. And as I just said about meteor points, they call it meteor credits. So now it's Hawken credits and meteor credits. Oh, it seems like the store is just not working in general. Alright, so looks like we won't be able to purchase anything. That is a shame. Beta is beta, ladies and gentlemen. They are probably getting hit really hard. And I can imagine the servers are getting hit hard with new people that are buying into the game and able to use the site. So when I get a chance here, I'm going to go ahead and try and purchase some things, and I will, of course, get that recorded for you so you can kind of take a look at what we have in the game. So this is kind of an overview of the changes, and what I'm going to do now is we're going to hop into a game, and we'll take a look at some of the things in there and possibly go over any gameplay changes that have occurred since the last beta. Before I move on, what I'd like to point out here when I go to the deploy screen is that they actually do have their basic training videos up now. You can click on each one of these to get a bit more information about the game. Hopefully soon we'll see a re-edition of the training arena that they had back in the alpha event, so you can actually just tool around and play without having to go into a server with other people. Now, something else I would like to see while we're on the subject is I would like to see them have a try before you buy feature of maybe getting an arena. You know, they've got the try before you buy mechs, right? But they pick at random the mech you can buy. Well, what happens when they add additional weapons and you think you want to buy a weapon? Something that the original PlanetSide did, and I'm kind of sad that PlanetSide 2 hasn't done. Now, they may still do it, is they had a virtual arena that you could go into, and you could basically try every single weapon in the game, and you would just fire them at test dummies. This would allow you to determine if these were weapons that you were willing to spend your money on. So hopefully they might consider something like that, but if they don't, at the very least, I hope they add a training arena so you can get used to movement and performance of the game before you have to worry about dealing with other people. Now lastly, I would like to point out here on the top is that there is no server browser in this build. They have only added matchmaking. Now don't panic that this server browser should only be down for this event. I have not seen any indication that they plan to remove it completely. It sounds like for this beta event, they are testing their matchmaking system, which at this point so far has put me in an empty server that didn't get anybody. So obviously bugs there. But then again, the shop is still not working. So I'll keep trying, do what I can to try and get you guys some footage in case you're interested and don't want to quite put money into it yet. Alright, one thing that I definitely forgot to mention when I was looking through the options for video. There's a nice little feature here about enable image grain. It is finally toggleable. So I can actually remove that film grain effect from the game, and quite honestly, I'm glad I can. While I understand it's their aesthetic, I really couldn't stand it, just how fuzzy it made things felt. So now things are looking a lot clearer. I like that a little bit better. So, unfortunate consequence of the issue with the store I've noticed is Hawken credits are not being awarded to me, so it looks like my character profile is just not gaining rewards as well as not being able to report that it has money to spend. So it looks like anything I do now is going to be kind of pointless, but hey, I'm going to play anyway because it's fun. At least experience is working. You can see I got my assault rifle leveled up, so I have less spread on that, so I'll be using that more than my submachine gun at present. And let's see, that also gets a spread reduction. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go into the game here. We're in siege mode. And one thing you can see here in siege mode that has changed is that the bases have 1 less health now. So they have 2 health instead of 3. Another change to the game mode is that the energy nodes, while the battleships are no longer in the air, they do not run out of energy. So you can always be gathering energy from these nodes while the battleships are down. Like normal, they will lose their energy when the battleships are up, so that effect is still in play. And let me actually gather what he dropped over here. Now, something they did change here for balance is they've changed up mechs a tiny bit. Mechs Bravo and Charlie, B and C basically, which are the medium and heavy mechs respectively, have had their speed reduced. They move a little bit slower. However, all mechs in the game now can boost longer than they used to, and it feels really good, to be quite honest with you. The light mechs have a clear advantage as far as moving forward now, as of course they did before, but it's a little more pronounced now. But even the heavy mechs and medium mechs look like they can perform a bit more maneuvering, so we can burst forward a little longer, and I've noticed it's a little easier to jump on top of things with the additional energy. So I'm going to go ahead and use an item here in a moment so we can kind of see what the item cooldown is. Let's just kind of throw that grenade out there. There you go. So it's a 45-second recharge on the grenade that I just tossed. So, and then I will get that back, so that is good to see. It used to be that you were given 2 of those, so you would fire out 2 and lose them completely. So it looks like they're going to give you 1, give you 45 seconds, and you can just keep throwing it. I guess they felt with the recharging resource that it would be too much to give you 2. Now, if I could get some more kills here, you might be able to see the new experience point notifications when you get some kills now. So basically messages pop up and a lot more pronounced when you're getting kills and helping people out. And that's really nice to see. So it's a lot more feedback as to what you did and what you're getting. So here you should see, there it is, a nice yellow circle right on the screen. You'll apologize for that moment of silence earlier. Apparently I had some background noise I had to get rid of. I figured it'd probably be best to just let you see the gameplay and filter that out. So I will be editing that out in post. Another feature that I will show off here once I actually get a target is the callout, the mech callout. Default is Q. This is the same default that PlanetSide 2 is using, the same default that Battlefield 3 uses, and Battlefield 2. You basically hit Q and you'll see, well, he's dead. But I can go over here and I'll point it out and you'll see a large circle there, and friendlies can see that. Yeah, I could chase him. No. Yes, yes, let's do it. Oh, what the heck. Oh, Rocketeer. Got away from that just in time. Hit him with my toe. Oh dear, that's not good. Let's pull away from that. Oh no, the rockets. Yep, Hellfire rockets. Level 2 Rocketeer. Very nice. Fortunately, I can't buy any internals. I can't buy any upgrades, weapons. Yes, it's going to be unfortunate. I will be gathering some more information, and I will put out some more videos. This is a 2-week-long event, so rest assured I will be doing what I can to show off the game in anticipation for its open beta release on the 12th, and to get you all excited about it. I think it's a really great game. It's looking good. It's nice to see an alternative mech game out there in the game space. Not that I have any problem with MechWarrior, still love that game, but these are very different styles, as I've mentioned before.
Yeah, it's gonna go.
Well, looks like our team's getting ready to launch. Let's get to the center. So what I'll like to see, if I can finally purchase items, is what the cooldown on things like the turrets are, and I'm pretty sure you'll have to use the turret. Eesh. Or your turret will have to be blown up before you can get another one. I'm pretty sure. Come on. Oh, this guy's kind of frustrating to fight at range. Rocketeers are definitely masters of the range fight. Maybe second to sharpshooters. So yes, where are you? Where are you? Do not hide from me. I think he's below. Yes, yes indeed he is. Alright, let us repair. That would be the sound thing to do at this point. We have the AA gun. Our battleship is on the way. And soon, this will be a victory for my team.
2 of them left, so it's 5-3.
How unfortunate. Yes, well, that's what happens when you have a game that does have some bugs and some people that don't want to lose badly. So, one nice change here that I can show off, though, is you can switch teams in the middle of the match. So I can go ahead and hit that and help them out now that they're kind of hurting for teammates. The unfortunate thing is this is pretty much game over, but they are getting people. Let's do this. Let's kind of show it off. There I am, dying. Never let it be said that KageKaze was not a fair team player. Let us see if we can pull these guys out from the dredges. Doubtful, but we will attempt it. Oh dear, it's nearly here. We have to get that, and we have to do it now. Either that or we have to shoot it down with our own weapons. Not seeing that happening. Come on. I'll need a little more love, a little more assistance from my team. Yes, I'm afraid that's not going to be happening. Well, I heard him. Not exactly. Oh, is that an enemy up there? Yes. This team dreadfully needed help, and unfortunately I cannot carry that. Surrounded in my own base. What is this? Kaboom. Well, I attempted to help. A loss under my belt for being charitable. What can I say? You run across that in every game, do you not? Although here's a nice feature. They have leaderboards now, or not really leaderboards, but the top accolades here. So you can see here highest score, and they show the mechs. I think that's really cool how they do that. They have the mechs showed up in a tiered fashion. Of course, here you can see most deaths, and of course, most assists. So, you know, purely there for ego boosting. Everything else here is pretty much the same as it was. Level 2, but it says I didn't gain anything. That's odd. Should have at least gained something for that. Alright, well that's the game in a nutshell. You also saw the new loading screens, which I think look very nice. So, a lot of polish going into this game. I think it's going to be good. They just need to fix a few of these beta issues. Beta being beta. I'm not surprised that there are problems. But I also know they will be fixing them. So, looking forward to that. More content will be coming. If you have anything specific about Hawken you would like to see that may help you make a decision, please inform me and let me know. I would be more than happy to support this game, as I have supported, of course, MechWarrior Online. Speaking of which, I will be making more tutorials. I just have to get the money, which requires time. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have taken another look at Hawken. Closed Beta Event 3, getting close to launch. 12/12/12. Look forward to it. I am KageKaze. I will see you next time.